Sue Gray was known as Psycho Sue in the civil service. She was also said to be a dictatorial bully. It was claimed that she was notorious for her determination not to leave a document trail. She would show others how to destroy emails by double deleting them. Her birthday is surprisingly unknown, but it is thought she was born in either 1957 or 1958. This says a lot about her authoritarian and controlling personality. A special advisor and former civil servant who has served as Downing Street Chief of Staff under Prime Minister Keir Starmer since 2024, previously serving under Starmer as Chief of Staff to the Leader of the Opposition from 2023 to 2024. The position of Chief of Staff is the third highest position in government. The head of the civil service is the second. Her report into the Partygate scandal criticized the government led by Boris Johnson and led directly to his downfall. She conducted the Cabinet Office inquiry into Andrew Mitchell's behavior during the Plebgate affair in 2012. Mitchell later resigned as Chief Whip. In 2017, she was described as the woman who runs the country. She was also responsible for the inquiry into Damien Green's behavior in 2017. Green, a close ally of the then Prime Minister, Theresa May, was the first Secretary of State and Minister for the Cabinet Office. He had been accused of sexual harassment and misusing office computers to view pornography. Green was sacked from his ministerial position in December 2017, but resisted calls to stand down as an MP. In 2020, Gray sought, but failed to be appointed head of the Northern Ireland Civil Service, and, in a subsequent interview with the BBC, said, "I suspect people may have thought that I perhaps was too much of a challenger or a disruptor. I am both." In May 2021, Gray returned to Whitehall to become the second permanent secretary in the Cabinet Office, in charge of policy on the Union and the Constitution. She reported to the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, initially Michael Gove, who was replaced in September 2021 by Steve Barclay. Following press reports about gatherings and parties on government premises during restrictions related to the COVID-19 pandemic in December 2021. The scandal became widely known as Partygate. Cabinet Secretary Simon Case initiated and led an investigation into the allegations. A few days later, he excused himself after it became known that an event had been held in his own office. Gray then took over the investigation. The investigation is into whether Prime Minister Boris Johnson knew about and participated in gatherings at Downing Street. Gray's initial findings were published on the 31st of January, 2022. In the report, Gray condemned a serious failure in leadership standards and stated that a string of gatherings was difficult to justify. At the same time, millions could not meet their friends and relatives. Publication of the full report was postponed pending the completion of an investigation by the Metropolitan Police. The police reported in May 2022 that their inquiries had resulted in 126 fixed penalty notices being issued. Gray's final report was delivered to Johnson on the 25th of May 2022 and published later that morning. In March 2023, Keir Starmer was considering appointing Gray as his Chief of Staff. Gray resigned from her post as Cabinet Office Second Permanent Secretary and left the civil service. Gray started her role as Starmer's Chief of Staff on the 4th of September 2023 and formally joined the Labour Party in November 2023. In July 2023, a Cabinet Office probe found that Sue Gray had broken the Civil Service Code regarding her talks with the Labour Party. The Labour victory in the 2024 general election saw Keir Starmer become Prime Minister, and Gray became his Downing Street Chief of Staff. Rumours reported by The Guardian have alleged that she has adopted a micromanagerial leadership style, with substantial control over ministerial and special advisor appointments, and extraordinary control over access to Starmer and his agenda. But these allegations are contested and emerged in the context of conflicting briefings from allies of Gray and Morgan McSweeney. As of 2024, she receives a salary of £170,000, more than £3,000 more than the Prime Minister and more than any cabinet minister. Gray now considers herself a deputy, as she has stripped Rayner of much of her power and taken it for herself. She now considers herself to be the de facto Prime Minister, as she has directed Simon Case, who is head of the civil service and second in control of Britain, as his job is to run the government business daily, to pass everything to her before the PM, and she will let Starmer know only what she considers he needs to know. This fact puts her above the PM, and she is not even an elected member of the government. Plus, she is not even a civil servant, but just a civilian employee of the government who now has the PM working for her. This means she is now running the country, which in turn makes her the unelected civilian dictator of Britain. Sue Gray sanctioned Wahid Ali's free pass to number 10 after he put up the money for Liam Conlon's electoral campaign, who just happens to be Sue Gray's son. However, it is not just Starmer and Gray's son. So far this year, members of the Labour government have accepted over £800,000 in freebies. David Lammy has accepted over £150,000, including £2,500 of Tottenham Hotspur's hospitality box tickets. The Labour cabinet has accepted £90,856 in gifts just this year. Yet Labour spent its whole time in opposition attacking the Tories for their sleaze and freebies, saying how pious and squeaky clean Labour were. This proves just how hypocritical the Labour Party is. No one gives that amount of money away to politicians without wanting something in return. Ayo, just what is Ali getting out of this? A say in government policy on the Middle East?